Hi, it's Denise from Motley Fabric, and today we're going to work on this striped pillowcase. Mine here is for Christmas, as you can see, with the red and green, but you can do it for any holiday, any season, any theme. The technique is still going to be the same. So you'll find a link to a how-to sheet in the description. Let's just get into it. Here are the pieces we're going to use. These strips will form the front of the pillowcase. There's 6 of them, 2 of each kind, but you can have 6 totally different ones. You could have 3 each of 2, however you want to do it. And then these 2 pieces are going to be the back of the pillow. So the very first thing I'm going to do is arrange these strips how I would like them to be for my pillow. So I think what I'm going to do is some green, white, red, kind of like this. And then I'm going to sew these all together. So I'll start down here. I'll flip them like this, sew along here. Then I'll flip like this, sew along there, open it up, flip like this, sew along there, and so on. So I'm going to go do that real quick and come back and show you what the front is going to look like. I'm back. Before I show you the stripes, I did forget in the first little section, you also need a piece of muslin. Here I have just some scrap white that I sewed together to be the right size, maybe a fusible fleece or an interfacing, so that when you put your pillowcase in the wash, you won't have raw edges. Okay, so here's my stripes all put together and pressed and everything, and we're going to put these wrong sides together. And like I said, that's going to trap the raw edges. So when you take the pillowcase and you put it in the washing machine, then you're not going to have strings everywhere. They're all going to be nice and encased in this, okay? So right side, right side. Now from here, if you don't want to quilt it, then maybe you want to use a little bit of adhesive and just, you're going to go around the outside for sure. Maybe you want to do it in the ditch a little bit, but now's the time for you to get fancy. Maybe you want to do diamond pattern. Maybe you want to put some names on the stripes. Maybe, whatever kind of fancy quilting you want to do, you should do. You could do it by hand, or, it's small enough, you could definitely do it on a machine as well. So I'm just going to do, I think what I'm going to do is some diagonals and make some diamonds and things. If you have fusible fleece, that's another good option. It's this fleece here. It's smooth on one side. It's got these little dots of adhesive on the other side. And so if you put your stripes on top of this one, right, you would iron it on. You still got this nice back for the washing machine, right? But then when you quilt, it's just going to add a little tiny extra oomph to what you're doing, that a little tiny extra 3D effect, more than if it was just, 2 pieces of fabric. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go quilt this up a little bit, and then we'll come back and I'll show you the next step. As sometimes happens, I got to the sewing machine and I totally changed my mind. So I did these vertical stripes. In here, it's hard to tell on the video, but I have some green stitch lines there for a little bit of contrast. So what's the next step? We need to do the back part of the pillowcase. So we're going to put this piece aside and take out these. All right. So what we want to do is take a long edge and we're going to fold it over, I don't know, a 1/4 inch or something like that. I'm kind of over there. There we go. So a 1/4 inch kind of like this, and then one more time. And we're just going to stitch along, and that's going to hide our raw edge. We're doing that to both pieces. So this one and this one, and we're sewing along the long edge. So I'll go do that now and be right back. So I've completed those back pieces. This is the front. And I trimmed up my stripes, so here they are. Now it's decision time, okay? And this kind of comes down to what you have at your disposal. So one way is if you don't want to bind, okay? What you're going to do is put right sides together, okay, like this. And this one goes on top. So right sides together like that. And then sew all the way around. And then if you have a serger, like you would be serging the edges, or If you just zigzag, you can do that as well. You will get a little raw edge and a little bit of fluff when you wash it, but not as much as you would have from this pieced section. The other option is to do wrong sides. I can't talk. Right sides facing out. Okay. So the first way was right sides together. This way is wrong sides together. And then what you can do from here is stitch around maybe by 1/8 of an inch or something, and then you can bind it. All right. And so you're just going to be trapping the raw edges in your binding, and you can do it that way. So what I'm going to be doing for this video is the inside out way, because I don't feel like binding. So again, we're putting them right sides together like this. And I'll be sewing with a 1/4 inch seam all around. And then I'll turn it right side out and show you how it looks. All right, I'm back, and the 3 pieces are sewn together. So later I'll go and I'll do some zigzagging here, but just for now, let's turn it right side out and see how it looks. All done. Now all it needs is the 12-inch pillow form. And I have one. This is actually a pillow that we stuffed. It's filled with fluff. It's my daughter's, and so I'll stick that in here, and then I'll meet you to show you the final project and to say goodbye. And we're done with our pillow. Thanks so much for sewing with me today. I had a great time. I hope you did too. Now here's your challenge. Maybe next time you make this pillow, you've got a bunch of squares instead of just stripes, or maybe you add some applique, or maybe you practice your hand embroidery stitching, or maybe next time I do it, I'll do some binding. I do not like to do binding, so maybe I'll challenge myself. Thanks so much for sewing with me, and I'll see you in the next video.